Good morning to everybody. Hope you are all well. Welcome to online classes. Today I will explain from the story Unit 1, Section 1. I heard a heavy steps from English course book. Now from the book I will start the explanation. There are many things in the universe that we do not know about or cannot explain. Explanation 1. There were so many things in the world that we did not know about those things or we could not simplify. There are so many stories in the cosmos that we were unable to realize about those stories or we could not describe. Explanation 3. There are so many stories in the creation that we were unable to recognize about those stories, even we could not resolve. Now from the book, perhaps it is for this reason writers have long been fascinated by the supernatural world that lies beyond the realm of our knowledge and understanding. Possibly, explanation 1, possibly it was for that cause writers have long been delighted by the mythical world that lies beyond the sphere of our understanding and conception. Explanation 2, possibly it was for that purpose, writers have long been enchanted by the miraculous that lie beyond the field of our learning and awareness. Explanation 3. Maybe it was for that jurisdiction writers have long been excited the ghostly world that lied beyond the orbit of our capability and perception. From book, read this excerpt from the popular Gothic horror novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. Explanation 1. Read the extract from the famous mystery horror novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. Explanation 2. Read the section from the favorite non-modern horror novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. Explanation 3. Read the portion from the well-liked uncivilized horror novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. Now from book. This excerpt describes the first appearance of Count Dracula in the novel. That extract describes the first appearance of the Count Dracula in the fiction story. Explanation 2. That part describes the first appearance of Count Dracula in the unusual story. Explanation 3. That part narrated the first appearance of Count Dracula in the strange story. Now from the book. Jonathan Harker is a young solicitor who makes a long journey to Count Dracula to advise him about buying a house in London. Explanation 1. Jonathan Harker was a young lawyer who made a long journey to meet Count Dracula and gave counsel him about purchasing a house in London. Explanation 2. Jonathan Harker was a young advocate who made a long journey to Count Dracula to propose him about procuring a house in London. Explanation 3. Jonathan Harker, a young attorney who made a long journey to Count Dracula to appeal him about securing a house in London. Now from book. He arrives at Dracula's castle after midnight. Explanation 1. He reached at Dracula's castle after midnight. Explanation 2. He visited at Dracula's castle after midnight. Explanation 3. He arrived at Dracula's castle after midnight. Now from the book. This extract describes the strange first meeting between the narrator and his host at the castle in Transylvania. That portion describes the curious thing, the first meeting between the narrator and his keeper at the castle in Transylvania. Explanation 2. That part explained the funny things, the first meeting between the narrator and his owner at the castle in Transylvania. Explanation number 3. That section is illustrated. This section was illustrated. The peculiar thing, the first meeting with the narrator and his processor at the castle in Transylvania. It is the end of this lecture.